This lesson is on midpoint, which is halfway between 2 points. Let's take a look at an example. Say you had 2 points, one of which is at 2, 1, and the other of which is at 4, 5. We could have a line through these 2 points, and we could be asked to find exactly in between those 2 points. So where is halfway between those 2 points? Well, on the grid, we can kind of approximate and say, I think it's right there, isn't it? But what if those points didn't line up so nicely, and that point that you think is in between is somewhere random in between the 2 grids where you can't really tell? Well, we need a bit of a generalization, but let's look at what we can do here. So let's break this down into the horizontal component between the x values, this being 2 and this being 4, and the vertical components, which come from the y values, this being 1 and this being 5. You can see that if we found halfway between our vertical and halfway between our horizontal, it would lead to the middle point, M. So what is that? Well, how do we find halfway between 2 points if we know the end points? So what's right in the middle of 2 and 4? Well, that's actually called the average. So if we take the average of our x values, that's 2 plus 4 over 2, which is 6 over 2, which is 3. So that's the average x value. And the average y value, which is supposed to be right here, 3, in between 1 and 5, you can do that by going 1 plus 5, which is 6 over 2, which is also 3 in this case. You'll see that our midpoint is 3, 3. So to generalize, we want the average x value and the average y value to be the midpoint. So as a summary, in general, average of the x, average of the y will give you the following formula if you like formulas. But sometimes it's easier to just think of midpoint as being the average, and the fact that it's a point means it has to be in point form. Let's try an example with just 2 points without drawing them out. So we want to take the average of our x values, which will be -2 plus 4 over 2. That'll be our x value of our point, and the average of our y values, which will be -1 and 6 over 2. And that's in the y value spot. So that's going to give us 2 over 2 and 5 over 2. So you can leave the midpoint as 1, 5 halves.